I'm just talking about what Kurt Warner said on his Twitter, because yesterday he said he wants to figure out why this is all happening with the Chiefs offense. Mm-hmm. And he said on his Twitter account, he said Pat's missing guys that are open. He's also seeing that the route concepts make no sense. There's a lot of confusing concepts, which is stuff you said plenty of times this year. So, like, not only you say that, but Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame quarterback, saying that what he sees out there, and just the one glimpse, but you would say that all year. And it's like, okay, like, people are just trying to point it to one thing. And the one thing that I've been noticing is everyone on our comments yesterday, this looks like the Matt Nagy Bears. This is Matt Nagy's Bears. It's like, okay, guys, but last year when things were going great, or last few years, it's Andy's offense. It's not EB's offense. And then when things were going bad last year, oh, man, EB's got to go. Offense looks awful. This year, it's pretty much all been bad, right? And it's all Matt Nagy. It's all the Chicago Bears offense. And it's just not – it's not fair because it's a collaborative effort. There's receivers problems. There's quarterback issues. There's O-line issues. It's a whole thing that's funky. It's not, Matt Nagy's offense. It's just it's too easy to say that.
It's a scapegoat. Too easy to say something like that, right? And to be honest with you, I don't know the assessment of Nagy's offense in Chicago to really to make that statement. I don't really know. I didn't really. I mean, I watched him, but I don't really watch him like that. And so we know what they didn't have. We know that the receivers struggled. You know, the one guy who was supposed to be Allen was supposed to be a hell of a receiver. Actually, he was.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, he regressed, or he just wasn't utilized. And why is that? So, does that have some bearings on where things are? Sure, I think that is part of it. But there's all other things too. Like you said, it's a combination of things. But look, I've been yelling this for the past maybe 10, 11 weeks, maybe more, about the route combination, the concepts doesn't make any sense. And with Kurt comes from like the Al Saunders, that greatest show on turf vein and system. And so I get exactly what he's saying, because our concepts, how we did everything, like you don't usually have the guys in the same area. You just don't, because it muddles everything up. It gets murky for quarterback. And so Kurt knows this, and Al used to preach it. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Okay? And that meant he could rely on the guys to be exactly where they need to be and be reliable. You don't have to worry about people being in the same area or don't have enough windows, because you spread the field out. You got to make sure you cover the entire field. To me, when I'm sitting there looking at the route combinations, it doesn't make any sense. I don't half the time I don't even know what route these things are, right? And I know this extensively as far as with route trees and every other concept or every other route that's out there. I ran them all. I've seen them all. And so not just only being, an offensive guy, and this is what tight ends kind of get. Tight ends kind of get like the same things that quarterbacks get. We got to know it all. We got to know, what's on the defensive line. We got to know pass protection, and we got to know coverage. So tight ends got to know it all. Sometimes backs and whatnot, wide receivers don't have to know what the blocking combination is up front. But tight ends, we jack of all trades, master many. So we can almost make the same assessment that quarterbacks do, because we have to know all of those things. Okay. So Curtis, he's spot on. He was absolutely right. But that's what I've been saying, though, Marcus, right? I've been saying this.
Saying it for weeks.
Saying this for weeks. And so.
Because people just want to say it was the receiver's fault. It was Coach Embry's fault. It was we've heard the Nagy one all throughout the season. But now it's like people are starting to see like there's nothing is kind of clicking. I mean, it's a totality thing, not just a one group. And this is the tweet. I'll just read what he said short. Watch Chiefs O and could have been worst overall game by this O and Mahomes era. First, credit Raiders D, who outcoached and outplayed Kansas City. Second, KC was bad everywhere. Patrick Mahomes missed reads and throws. Concepts were confusing and got manhandled up front, etc. It's getting late, people. And you put a clock ticking emoji.
That joker right there must have been reading my notes.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I was saying. I was saying that last night on the show. We got manhandled up front. We were outmatched. We got our noses bloody. We got beat up, and Antonio Pierce said that's what they wanted to do. They want to come in and make it a brawl. And he told those guys, I want you to beat those guys up front. And they did that. They came in, and it was like a whole different team. When the team we played on the first time, it was a whole different team. And so obviously when you hang up 60-something points on the Chargers, right? Same ones that's in your division, you'll be walking around with your chest, puffed out. And you should. Yeah. But he's got these guys playing at a high level, man. He's taking who he is and put it into those guys. And he's just letting them play. That's what he's doing. So you can see the attitude and an extension of a coach going into the players. That's very important. So you can sit there and say the same thing on the Chiefs. Well, who are the Chiefs an extension of? Who are we representing on the offensive side of the ball? Right? So that's the question. That's the question. No doubt there's no consistency there. There isn't. And I told you last night, it was the first time I actually was kind of concerned as far as like what direction are we going? Because the things that I was thinking of, I was really, a little bit more promising things I was hopeful for was we were kind of starting to get some, at least it looked like some timing down. It looked like they were trying to get on the same page, a little bit of relationship. And then when you have a game like this and you still see off timing throws, guys not being in the same spot, the right spot, the spaces still look different. Everybody's in the same places. Like there was no meaningful routes. I'll tell you, the one route that looked crisp was the one that Richie James called. And he took it down. He ran a basic, ran it, put his foot in the ground, came off the break, perfect, right? Pat was on time, throw the ball out your hand, catch, almost go hit your head on the goalpost. That's the way those things are supposed to look, right? That's exactly how those things are supposed to look. So that's the woes of what we had to deal with last night, just kind of watching it. And it was like, it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed for the guys. I know how them guys are feeling, man. They, that's why Kelsey and Pat, man, they was embarrassed with the type of play. And Pat being under duress all night last night, he was pissed. He was pissed. So then he feels like, you know what? I got to do this all myself. I got to make my own plays. I got to try to do a little bit more than what I need to be or who I need to be to make plays and make things happen. Okay. I got to almost will ourselves to win. I got to do that. So he's trying to remind himself, this is the old Patrick Mahomes. This is what he's doing. This is who he is. And he is that guy. Make no mistake about it. He is that guy. But does it make it more difficult when everybody else is not on the same page with you? Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. And that's exactly what he was like, man, I need somebody else to pick up the game with me. Okay. Because then he starts pressing there. He's trying to do a little bit more. Heck, he puts himself in harm's way about getting hurt. It was a hard thing to watch, man, last night. Hard thing to watch.
You could tell he was like, putting the cape on, the Superman cape on more so than usual, because he was taking every run he was doing. We don't want to see Pat taking hits left and right. He wasn't sliding. He was like, I need to get every yard as much as possible. I'm not sliding. I'm taking this thing head on. It's like, man, like, it's amazing that we want to see our guy do that and all, but like, I mean, geez, man, like, without you, we don't have a season. There is no everyone's talking about being one and done in the playoffs. Yeah, we will be one and done in the playoffs if we don't have him.
And I was like, Pat, man, you got the first down. Slide, go down. Like you don't need another 1 or 2 yards. We don't need for you to do that. Just slide and go down. If you got the first down, move it and change, get into that rhythm, fine. But he looked like he was trying to fight for every single yard. And he was going down a little awkward here. And here's the thing, though. You've seen the Raiders, they was jumping on him.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're not gonna slide. Well, guess what? We're gonna make you pay for it. We're gonna jump on your legs, your neck, everything. We're gonna hit you because you didn't give yourself up. So he doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to do that. Somebody said, man, look, he's trying to do it all by himself. We're not putting enough in our hat. Somebody needs to step up besides him. Okay. But that put him in harm's way. Not only that, but also too making some bad decisions.
Yeah,
let's just be real. So
he was pressing big time. And I will say, you talk about the embodiment of how the Raiders embody Antonio Pierce with them. It seemed like Pat was the only one really playing with some level of urgency yesterday, and it, him trying to will us like with running the ball, not sliding. I feel like if more guys see that, hey, look at our quarterback, look at the guy the $500 million man's doing. Like maybe that could be the embodiment that people are trying to mimic. The urgency that he's showing and displaying. And yeah, he didn't play. We're gonna get to grades in a second here. This is probably one of his worst games overall. I mean, like some of the decision making was just, what are you doing? It looked like Texas Tech, Pat, that a lot of people were like, "Oh, this guy makes questionable decisions." And it looked a little bit like that at times yesterday. But like overall, he was trying so hard in every way which possible to will us, to victory yesterday. And hopefully, maybe that's something that. And I don't know, we're going on week 17 here. Maybe some guys on the team are like, man, look what our $500 million man's doing. Let me try to make the extra effort, the extra play here to try to get Willis to victory as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. So it's like you said, you don't have to put the cape on all the time. He wears the cape anyway. Okay,
yeah,
you know what Superman does, but daggone, if you got other crime fighters with you, or the Justice League with you, somebody else needs to step up, right? We need to see Batman, Aquaman, and the Flash, whoever it may be. We need to see all of them. Everybody needs to step up. Okay,
yeah, we need more of those guys in the Hall of Justice right now.
That's right. There you go, Hall of Justice. Yay! Look at you.
Hey man, my brother taught me Super Friends when I was younger, man.
Oh my gosh, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. I wonder how many people know that. Hall of Justice. You're like, what? What is that? Hall of Justice?
What is Super Friends? Oh, that's the original. That's the original DC the cartoon show back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Hi everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.